It's not death you should be afraid of. It's being alive but unable to live. And if you're not protecting your health span, that's exactly where you're headed. This is the thing that I'm thinking about so frequently, and quite frankly, it scares me a lot. Um, I'm not afraid of dying, but I am definitely afraid of being in constant pain or being on my back where somebody needs to take care of me for a lot of years, or being on constant medication, going to constant doctor appointments, and just being needed to be cared for. And that's the thing that really keeps me awake at night. Every day I'm reading articles and seeing people suffering that really could have been avoided. And the key is starting as early as you can, but I want to tell you, it's never too late. You see, there's just four basic things that we need to build disciplines and habits around. And it's really not that difficult, and you know what they are. But for some reason, we either wait too long in our lives or we don't see what the pain that's ahead is going to be like. And I think that's more the case. You see, I think we go on this journey in our life, and for a long time, we are looking at our future as things we're looking forward to. So we are looking forward to getting through school, and we're looking forward to finding love and getting married and having children, and we're looking forward to seeing our kids grow and get through school. And we look forward to vacations, and we look forward to hanging with our friends. And before we know it, we're 40, 45, 50, and we stop having big things to look forward to that keep us focused on today. We are all of a sudden kind of shocked by the way we feel, and we attribute that to our age. And I don't think that's the case. I think it's our lifestyle. I think somewhere along the line, we stop doing the things that keep us young, keep us flexible, keep our mind sharp, keep us strong. We do our day-to-day stuff. We go to work every day. We sit at desks. We are doing things maybe we don't enjoy, and doing things um, incorrectly or without habits or disciplines for a long period of time. Guess what? It creates different habits and disciplines. So here we are, midlife, and we say, okay, we've got a few more good years. So you're 50 years old and you think you're going to live to mid 80s. So I've got 35 more years. But I think that's where you're wrong. Statistics show that the majority of people who live to be in their 80s, males 81, females a little bit older than that, suffer with some form of chronic disease for 10 to 15 years. So if you take 80 and subtract 15, that takes it down to 65. And man, that doesn't give you a whole lot of time, because uh, I don't think anybody realizes pain and suffering and being in that for a long time. None of us do. It's very hard to relate unless you're watching a loved one suffer through it, which I have, and I don't want to be there. So my journey, and I got on this a while ago. I wish I would have gotten on it a lot sooner, and that's my journey to a long health span. So I talk about 120 and being inspired to live 120, and I think science and technology, everything we're learning, I think it's going to be possible. But my point of talking about 120 inspired isn't so much live to 120 as the goal, but it's my target out there. But what it requires for me of me is to get really to design my life to live healthy as long as I can. You see, I love my life right now, and I really love everything about it. I love my relationships with my wife Katie, and I love my relationships with my parents who are 89, and my boys and their spouses and the grandkids. It's a great time. I love traveling around the world. I love going to work every day. Working with the people I'm working with has really never been better. And It's just with this life experience now of being 65 years old, I've got so much more to offer and so much more to give, and I'm happy. And I started to go on this health journey a few years ago, but have really hit it hard, really the last 5 years, maybe a little longer than that. Um, and I see results, and at the end of the day, I feel really good right now. And I'm trying all kinds of goofy things, and I'm not necessarily at this point suggesting that you do, but I'd love for you to go on this journey with me because I feel great. And the key is I want to have the ability to do everything I'm doing right now for as long as I possibly can. Am I going to be able to hike, climb stairs, climb into Jeeps on safaris? Am I able to um, go to events, travel around the world? Am I able to exercise and lift things and run around with great grandkids? I don't want any of that to stop, number one. Number two, I don't want to be in a situation where any of these people I love have to spend too much time taking care of me, especially the major stuff like showering me and wiping my butt and pushing me around. Man, I don't want that for my loved ones, and I certainly don't want that for me. So I'm on this journey, and I'm really lucky that technology, all the information we're learning, I think is contributing to an advantage for us all. So the earlier you start, I guarantee you, the better off you're going to be. And I don't think it's ever too late, by the way. I think getting a little bit stronger, building your endurance up a little bit, is always possible and is always going to add some healthy years to your life. But the key here and the point of this video is to get you understanding that it's not the year you're going to die that you need to think about. It's the year that you're unable to do the things you love doing. And I don't think we're paying attention to that. I think we just think it's part of aging, and it's not. I think if you have been training hard and eating perfectly, and your mindset is good, and your memory is good, and you're sleeping great, and you're happy, I don't think you're having a lot of the aches and pains that I don't think your body's aging. Um, in years maybe, but not in age and in its ability to function. I think it's our lifestyle, and there's no better time than right now to get your lifestyle designed for how you want to live. We develop these habits when we're younger, and we're having fun, and there's no reason when you're young to start thinking like this, but there comes a point around midlife, they call it around 40, that you start thinking about that second half. Um, I'm playing the second half as I'm 65 and I'm going to 120. The experts are saying people, and there are people way, way more advanced than me on this subject that are planning to live significantly longer than that. And when I say planning, I mean planning. They know that they could be hit by a bus any day, but they're planning to live a very long time because they know the science that's coming our way. So I want to inspire you to not waste time thinking that I'm just going to age, and I'm not going to lie, it's not easy getting up and going and doing something that you haven't done before, that's a bit challenging, that makes you tired, that may hurt a little bit. You have excuses. You don't really have time. You have other obligations. And I think that when you get to this place in life where you are struggling with a chronic disease, I think you're going to wish you put in a little bit more effort at some point. And I'm just going to talk about like 4 areas right now that I think getting your arms around is really important to being able to certainly not age as quickly. And at some point, you're going to understand that there are things you can do to at least make you feel like you're not aging at all. And I know I've talked to a lot of people that say, I feel great. I've never felt better. But if somebody said, hey, let's go for a run, no. In fact, it'd be funny to watch you run. Or for me, like jumping has gone away. So I'm on this, like I'm just obsessed with relearning how to jump high. So I've got some jumping goals, only because youngsters could do it, and I'm not going to not be able to do that. But most things I've got my arms around. So the four things that I think to start, that if you don't do these four things, you could almost guarantee aging quickly. And there's more than four, but there's four key ones. And before I tell you the four key ones, I mean, there are things we know statistically that we're probably more likely going to die from. Again, we could die all sorts of ways, but the majority of people is heart disease, cancer, and diabetes. Like those are the big ones. And I think that, and dementia, I think those are the things that we have to do everything on our power. And there's information that we can get now if we're on that track to get it in check to give us much, much better chance. And those four things really are exercise. It's what you put in your body, your diet, and what you don't put in your body, the junk. It's sleep, and that's so important to get your sleep dialed in. So many of my friends who work really hard, who've built great companies, pride themselves on not needing as much sleep, but everything proves that sleeping less than 6.5, 7 hours a night for a long period of time is doing damage to you and causing aging. And the most important, so I'll go sideways here for a second. So I'm doing all kinds of biohacking and just different things, really obsessed with all sorts of things to really help every aspect of my life and body. But I could be doing all the cold plunging and sauna treatments and red light therapy and PMF mats and like all the stuff. But if I'm not exercising, sleeping well, eating well, it's just simply that stuff isn't going to stop aging for me. You got to be doing the eating right and the exercising and the sleeping. And then I realized, man, if I'm exercising and I'm eating well and I'm sleeping great, which I feel like I have most of those things dialed in really well right now, but I don't have the right mindset that doing those three things, exercise, sleep, and eating right, if you don't have the right mindset, if you're stressed out, if you're worrying, if you're obsessed by the wrong things, if you struggle at all with jealousy or your self-esteem, like you don't feel like accomplished, and you just constant goals, constant reaching, never satisfied. I think that stuff in your head that's about to blow is probably the most important. Doesn't mean that, man, I'm happy and everything's great, I don't have a worry in the world, that then if you don't exercise, you don't sleep well, and you don't eat right. But I bet you that they have a better chance. So I say they because I don't have 100% of my head right, and I'm working on it hard. In future videos, I'll tell you a lot of the things that I'm doing to get me in a position to where, man, I don't go down that path of depression or dementia or Alzheimer's. I mean, I've seen very close loved ones battle it, and it's not fun, and it's certainly not something I want to put any of my family members through. So in my opinion, getting your head right is the most important thing. But I'm going to start with sleep. So getting the right amount of sleep is critical for you to have the energy required to get up and get after the day. Certainly get up and exercise. And there are lots of tools one could use to sleep better or improve on the sleep. I use the Oura Ring, and the Oura Ring, and I have some friends who use the Whoop Band, and there are several ways to track your sleep now, but tracking your sleep, your REM, your deep sleep, all the stuff, I won't go into it on this video, but getting your arms around making sure that you're getting quality sleep at least 7 hours a night. Lots of books, lots of articles, temperature that the room should be, light, eating 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed, all that kind of stuff. So there's a whole bunch around getting your sleep dialed in. But there's sleep. And then there's things about eating right. So everybody knows, I think, what's good for us and what's not good for us. Let me start with the not good for us, because that's the shit that's gonna put you in chronic disease, right? It's like there's so many studies of how bad sugar is for you, yet we eat it constantly. The energy drinks and sodas and processed foods, they're horrible. And if you're putting those into your body, you're not helping with health span. You're taking years away. It's a withdrawal from your bank account. And if you're putting good stuff in your body, like enough protein, quality protein, and vegetables and fruits, and hydrating, I think you're on the right start. Again, there's a lot of literature and studies that, and they conflict with one another. But the things I'm telling you, I don't think there's no debate that of the things I said you shouldn't be putting in your body. I don't think anybody's saying soda's good for you. I think there's some people out there saying shouldn't worry about it as much, maybe. But I think you should. And some of the influencers out there that I've heard talk about soda being maybe not as bad, or alcohol being not as bad, or, in moderation. The thing is if, I'll go back to your mindset. If you're not battling depression or envy, and you're not overwhelmed and stressed out at work, and you've got great relationships, and you're happy, and you're playing at night with friends, and playing games, and have lots of hobbies, and a lot of play and a lot of adventure, yeah, I think a soda now and then probably not going to kill you. But if you're not exercising and you don't have that mindset, which most people aren't completely dialed in that way, and aren't sleeping well, the stuff I mentioned will potentially reduce your health span. So we know that it's calories in, calories out. So we have to watch what we eat. And for so many years, we don't. Right? We're feeding kids stuff. And for so many years, we didn't have the understanding that we do today. I grew up, my parents feeding me what they thought was really a healthy breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And it turned out to be not so good for me, like, waffles, French toast, and bacon, and lots of milk, and orange juice, and all the things that they're finding really aren't that great for you right now. So take this knowledge and, reshuffle a little bit and figure out the things that you need to be putting in your body. And I'm going to go into a lot of detail in the future about the specifics about diet and calories and those kind of things. But I'm just telling you, like, the 4 things that, please, like, don't wait till next week. Just get up and do some shit because, man, I just like I said, I have definitely fear for myself, um, being alive and not being able to live. But I really don't want to see my loved ones. I don't want to see friends. I don't want to see anybody suffer when they don't need to by just getting into the right habits. And they're only the wrong habits because we spent so many years not really knowing and thinking we needed to. We just thought aging was, we thought in years, and then all of a sudden we're 40, 45, and we have this much time yet left, and we think, okay, that's it. Might as well have fun these next 15 years or 20 years because that's all there is. And again, I think the second half is about fulfilling your dreams and getting after everything that you've always wanted to do. Now's the time. You put a lot of stuff on hold that first half. Now you have time. And imagine if you get healthy and feel good and happy and extend your health span, you've got all kinds of time to do all the things that you stopped doing or that you've always wanted to do or that you want to do more of. So there's diet and sleep that I talked about, and then exercise. And again, everybody knows I got to exercise. Well, then how come you're not doing it? And we look for articles that and information that tell us all we need to do is a little of this and it's fine. Get your 10,000 steps in. That's a start. And in past videos, I've talked about just start, just do a little bit every day. That's true. But the reason you got to do a little bit every day is so you could get to the point of where you're going a little hard and much harder, because that's the thing that's going to extend health span. And in conversations I'm with people, they say, why do I want to work that? I don't want to work that hard I'd rather not. I'd rather not do that right now. I'd rather watch Netflix. I'd rather have a couple beers. I'd rather stay up late or sleep in. I'd rather do these things. I don't really care about increasing my health span. When I die, I die. And that's so easy to say when you're 45, 50, 55, and you're not really thinking about dying. You're still living your life and you're happy. But, I think there's going to be a day where you get a wake-up call and you're going to be in a position where you might have regret. And that's probably one of the biggest things, is getting to this point in life where I have regret, where I didn't do something that I could have done. Even though it was difficult, I could have learned how to do it, or I could have built up the disciplines and habits, and just gone through, just changed really my habits and disciplines. It's nothing more than that. So with that exercise, one of the things as we age is we lose muscle. So it's really important that you figure out how to keep your muscle. I had a conversation with a friend yesterday who feels really good, lost 25 pounds, maybe more than that, but he says he's weak. He joked that his wife's arms are bigger than his, and he knows he needs to start doing something. He just isn't clear what. So like always, I just made a little suggestion of just starting with something that doesn't seem so daunting, that just gets you in your body moving and doing something that you doesn't typically do. So I suggested some push-ups, some air squats, hanging on a bar, because if you haven't done pull-ups in a long time, you're going to have a hard time doing pull-ups. And thinking about all the things you're able to do as a child and as a teenager that you can't do anymore. Because why? Because you aged, or because you just haven't done shit for the last 40 years? It's probably that. I have some other friends who've exercised hard for their whole life, and they're in their 60s, and they can do everything they've ever been able to do, in fact, more. I have a friend that called me last week and was bragging that he was able to hang. He doesn't know how, but he was able to hang for a little over 7 minutes, 7 minutes and 26 seconds, I think. And his best prior to that was 3 minutes. And for some reason, he was telling me about the song he was listening to. He's telling me about the things going through his head. And for whatever reason that he can't explain, he did 7 minutes and 26 seconds. And he says, I'll never be able to do that again. Well, I'm sitting, I've gotten up to 2-3 minutes before, but I hadn't done it in a while. And my most recent hang, which was last week, was about 2 minutes and shoot, I don't remember. Over 2 minutes, less than three. And they say that a male, certainly my age, should be able to do it for a minute. Much younger men should be able to do it for at least 2 minutes. And so my mindset, what I have posted is that I want to be able to do everything a younger guy is supposed to be able to do. So anyway, so I suggested to my friend to do push-ups, hang until he could do some pull-ups, do some air squats. And so you're working basic muscles, maybe do some planking. But then again, I didn't want to get him to where it was miserable. I just wanted to make him a little bit sore, because when you're sore, you start feeling your muscles a little bit. You start seeing some improvement after a few weeks. That's inspiring to do more. So you got to build muscle. And in future videos, I'll talk about specifically what you need to do it and the kind of strength we're going to need as we age. And I referenced hanging. Grip strength is absolutely one of them. It's something we lose as we age. So grip strength is very, very important. And building muscle for as long as you can is very, very important. So that's part of exercise. The other part of exercise is cardio. And this is the part that I learned maybe in the last several years, 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago when I was training cycling, that it's the slow, long zone 2 rides. And in this case, just zone 2 exercise. Zone 2 is exercise that you can hold a conversation in. Breathe in a little bit hard, but not to where you can't talk and can't go for a very long time. So studies are saying that you need about 150, 180 minutes of zone 2 exercise every week. So I've broken that up to 3-4 days of 45, 30 minutes on some days, an hour on other days, but I do about 150 minutes a week, ideally in 3 days, sometimes 4. And that gets your heart strong. And they're also finding that as we age, a major focus point should be our zone 2 VO2 max. And that's how much air we can take into our lungs. That's going as hard as you can and recovering, and then going as hard as you can and then recovering. The most common is 4x4s. Go hard as you can for 4 minutes, or about 75% of max, and then backing off to where you're basically stopping or going at a very slow pace, and then for 4 minutes, and then going hard for 4 minutes. You do that 4 times. And there are different variations of VO2 max training. For a young guy, over 43, you're in great shape. I'm back and forth in the high 30s right now, and I've got a goal this year to get it up over 43. But for my age, I'm in very good shape. I do that 1 day a week. That's all that's required, with 150 minutes of cardio and 3-4 days of strength training. I like doing it early in the morning because it gets done. And I found that if I put it off, and man, it's so easy to put off, especially when you haven't been exercising a lot. You just go, I'm going to do it today, later today. And then guess what? 95% of the time you don't. And if you do, it ends up affecting your dinner time or your sleep or whatever. But so do it anytime you can. Morning is preferable because it gets done, and it's exhausting the first week or two, but you'll get to a point where that exercise that you're really wanting it bad because it fuels you and it just helps you thrive. Because the whole thing about exercise, eating right, sleep is creating energy, right? Strength and energy. Because as you don't see a lot of older people with an abundance of energy, and those that have it, probably if they're taking care in other ways, are going to be healthier much longer. It's that energy that we're all striving for. That those late afternoon fatigues and brain fog. That's something to pay attention to. And then lastly, like I said, the most important that has me most, I don't want to say concerned about, the major of my foot, like I've got these other habits and disciplines that I'm working on that are improving really all the time. It's my getting my mind right that I need to focus on, because I go through periods of being just frustrated or a little bit uptight. I get, with different conversations, people don't necessarily see the frustrations, but they go on in my head, and it's just not good. You need a place to release it, and I also get stuck scrolling occasionally on social media, and the way the world's going, I get stuck in that negative stuff, and that's just not great for my brain. So I put some things in place to limit, ultimately to avoid that. Life is positive, man. Life is going so good. So to have my mind go anywhere else than it being great is just a waste of energy. Because when I stop and think and reflect and focus on what I'm grateful for, and there's nothing to be stressed about. And it's really all these goals I have, this realization that I'm creating more time. There's more things I want to do, more places I want to see, more things I want to accomplish, more people I want to inspire. Believe it or not, gets me stressed out. So that needs help. And so some of the things I'm doing, I'm meditating in the morning and the evening. I've got this routine now in the morning where I lay on this PMF mat and do some red light and meditate, basically. And so I'm working on my skin, working on my just grounding and getting everything dialed in internally, and really working on my head. I've started a gratitude exercise. I've started just a lot more reading about positive things. About I look at my goals, and I look at them with really positive glasses on. So I'm looking at accomplishments rather than what I haven't done yet. And all that seems to be helping a little bit. And I'm just being brutally honest. Out of those 4 areas, I think that's the area that it's the least amount of stuff we can do to prevent, we don't know a lot. We're learning more and more every day about dementia and Alzheimer's, but we don't know enough yet to cure it. And so I'm doing everything I can. I've started reading more frequently, playing some games, some puzzles, and just thinking and creating. And the last thing about mindset is, when you're designing your life, is making sure you're designing in the things that bring you joy and fun, whatever those are. And keeping in mind that putting the right stuff in your body and exercising and sleeping, right? So if the things that create fun for you hurt those other things, probably not a wise decision. But finding things you enjoy, finding people you enjoy, like-minded people that have a lot of the same goals and ambitions, people that cheer you on, people that inspire you. And I think that will help get you to a place where you just feel good. You feel like you're not aging because you're going to see you have the ability to do things that you just haven't been able to do in years. And then when you start hanging around more people like that, it just inspires you to do more, learn more, start more. And that's when, man, you're going. So you got this second half of life, right? This is where I'm at. I'm looking at, okay, I mean, maybe we're going to live a whole lot longer than 120, so I'm not at halftime. But I'm playing this game like this is the second half. What do I want to do? And like I said, I want to be able to do everything I've been doing because the first half has been wonderful. I don't want to, I want to see more. I want to experience more. And I intend to do the very best I can. Again, who knows what's around the corner, but I'm not going to get to a place at 70 or 75 or 80 and say, shoot, I wish I would have done a little bit more of this or a little bit more of that. And I wish I didn't do this and I wish I didn't do that, because really it didn't contribute to any long-term joy. It just immediate, I don't know, gratification today at the expense of later, or things that I've experienced in the past. Immediate gratification, it's not the way to live. I mean, I play the long game now, and I still have a ton of joy, and I can't wait to share with you my journey, because I hope, and I'm seeing it every day, more and more people messaging me questions or inspiration that keep me going, send me articles, debating a little bit, which is always really, really good. I want to invite you on this journey. I'm going to continue to share longer, more information, so you get to know specifically. So far, the last few months, I'm just talking kind of globally what I'm up to, but I want to get more into the specifics and show you what I'm doing, share with you what may not be working, or things that I'm seeing just a lot of change in because of this or that. Can't wait to share. If you're interested in hearing more, please like or share, but let me know. Give me feedback on how I can improve, information you want to learn, and let me know if you want to be part of this journey with me. Thank you.